Haley, what you doing? Introduce it then.
I thought you would introduce us. Fucking hell. We're back all. Cheers for tuning in. Hope you've all subscribed. Please like at the end. We've got questions to work through, and as usual, we will go off on mad tangents and fucking waffle loads. Before we do that, has anybody got any updates or anything they want to announce?
Assalamu alaikum, my brothers.
Deck, how's the hamstring?
Fucked. Royally fucked.
Yeah, Dex ripped his fucking hamstring in two.
Hamstring in 2 bits. It's attached on either side by like this much, which is good, but it's annoying. It's a bit depressing because it affects everything you do, really. You don't really realise. But it's also annoying because it disappears. Like, you're in no pain now, and then you go get off the sofa and it fucking shoots you at the ass again. Or, like, I was doing a chest-supported row at the gym, and I normally dangle my left leg off to make sure, but I forget 1 rep and it just pulls again. So it'll be up for a good 6 weeks. Do you want to tell
people what you did to do it, you twat?
Prick. I was doing a standing hamstring curl, the Atlantis one at this JP gym. And normally, and this is, I make myself so angry. Normally, I work up like a pyramid set, which I've always done on my first exercise. No matter what I'm doing, I'll pyramid up. And I was in a little bit of a rush that afternoon. So instead of doing pyramids of 10, I did like 5, 5, 5. So I did a full stack and 2 plates pinned on my right leg for 8, no problem at all. First rep on my left leg, I lifted it up and I literally just heard, it sounded like, it was like a, I was like, what the fuck was that?
Oh, no.
On the floor. Everyone came rushing over to help me at the gym, which was nice because I'm a fat bastard, so to carry me out wasn't fucking easy. There was a lot of big dudes there, but I'm really good with pain. Like, I was in tears on the way home. Like, that's how badly it hurt. Was it nice?
Awful. What have you been doing?
I felt like it was right up in my bollocks.
What have you been doing? Because that's where it runs up, isn't it? So, Phil, what have you been doing peptide-wise?
So I've been doing... Don't copy me. I've been doing 5 milligrams a day of BPC and TB5. 10 I use of growth hormone, a mil of glutathione. Look, and it's getting better every single day. Like, I can't complain. Like, obviously that stuff works. Keep in mind, it was only 2 months ago I couldn't even lift my arm above my head because I had a shoulder injury. So this is like rolling into another. So I've been using it fairly consistently. But I was allowed to train leg extensions. I did a session of 50 sets of leg extensions in 1 session, which was good, and there was no pain because I thought that was going to hurt a lot, where the hamstrings on the pad, but there was nothing at all, which is really good for me because these then keep my quads full. They ain't going to grow, but they keep them full. And then I think 6 weeks it'll be till I can load it, but obviously with the way that things are going and what we use, I should imagine that'll be more like 3. But it's going to be ugly. It's not going to be one of the nice ones because a tear would normally go like this way, but it's right across the middle. If that makes sense. So it just looks like I've had a surgery already when I haven't.
It's like that.
Yeah, literally that. It's just like it's like a divot, and where you can see it in the side, if that makes sense. It just looks like it's kind of in half where you post it from the left-hand side. Like,
you need to add some.
Is that your better hamstring or your worst hamstring?
It's actually my worst hamstring, thank fuck.
That's all right then.
My weakest hamstring, which is it's my strongest hamstring, which is weird, but my weakest
Yeah.
I wonder if that being overcomplicated is something to do with because maybe one hip rotates more anteriorly or posteriorly than the other.
Maybe.
It doesn't get the same contraction because it's always tight, which is why it's tough. But
my bro, listen. When you go to the gym and you do a stupid shit, you fuck about and you find out, innit? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you get in your own head so much. Like, it was also the week I'd moved to a new split where I put double leg days back in, which I haven't done in years. It was an accumulation of things where normally I would have 7-day period in between my hamstrings being rested, if that makes sense. But it was actually 3 this time.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I also think I just don't. It's why I'm so against these low rep feeder sets when you're doing really heavy work. Do you know, just doing 5, 4s, and 3s. And I know some people get away with it, but I think where you go and do, a 15 or a 20, and then an 8 or a 10, and then a 6 or an 8, get blood into it, give it some flexibility and whatnot. Whereas I've seen Jordan just do a 4 and a 2, and then go into fucking like 9 plates on the T-bar, and I'm like,
I was just getting old.
Proper injury, like proper.
Yeah,
injury.
like I'm just getting older as well. Like I can't do the same shit that I used to do in walking the gym, be straight. And I'm a lot stronger than I was when I was a bit smaller and that sort of stuff. So I just need to be a bit more cautious. It's all my fault. I own it, but
I'll tell you what though. Once you tear something, you start to just something clicks in your brain, and training's never the same. You know when you
said this. So when I injured my shoulder, right, I couldn't train my chest, which is my weakest body part. So what I had to do is I had to really focus on contraction, and I was working up like 20 rep sets, all the way up into a weight that I would fail at. But I continued to do that, and my chest never looked so good. Like where I'm instead of doing the meathead stuff of trying to do 2 reps, 3 reps, and be really strong, I'm literally getting up to a similar weight still now, but I'm doing like 15 rep feeders all the way up. Does that make sense? Pumps are
You're
ridiculous.
pyramiding it up all the way.
Yeah. But I'm not losing top set strength, really. Like, I'm still hitting, like, the same plates I was doing, which is really odd.
I've always said to people, although it was a nightmare me tearing my pec because it's the first thing you see in the physique and slipping my discs, doing both of those made me a way better trainer in the gym. Because I couldn't move the weight that I could have do the certain things. I mean, an advantage of my degrees in fucking therapy and fucking nutrition. So although I knew how to train around an injury, because I couldn't do certain things, it made me have to focus on doing what I could do better. And because I couldn't do a proper heavy bent over row or a proper heavy push down, or I had to then learn to do things and feeling better. And it really, unfortunately, for all of us, it's like what Chuddy says, it's not until you have an injury and you've got to slow things down and feel things that you end up then.
I'm being serious here. Ever since I met Hilly, and he was like, I tore my pec on the Smith or whatever, mate, I go on there and I fully get warm. And because you've now tore your hamstring, mate, today I went on hamstring code. I was like, nope, that's not happening to me. I'll beat these guys on consistency. I'll be here till I'm 50. So I was doing it proper light. I was like, then I looked.
It is annoying though. I know my body does respond to the heavy stuff. Does that make sense? Like, my body is one of the ones that, like, can move weight and it does respond. So it's just frustrating trying to find the balance between the two. If I train fluffy, I lose fullness.
Bro, I'm truly in the side of caution, mate. I don't do anything now that can injure me. Touch wood. I don't run, nothing dumb.
Mate,
It doesn't even have to be that heavy. Like, I tore, granted it was 3 plates, but like I tore it on the 12th or like the 13th rep on a barbell bench. Like, that's
Mate,
not
Hilly
heavy.
tore his on the Smith.
I saw mine on a Smith doing decline.
Wherever, but what I'm saying is that it doesn't have to be a 1 rep max for you to tear
No.
something. Like, I tore mine on the 12th rep, so it's like relatively for how many reps I was doing, that's technically not heavy. It's just sometimes it's just shit luck, innit?
Yeah. Well, that's it. Well, truly, like what you say, right? Do you know what it is? When I did my pec, I was about 6 weeks post show, right? Now, I had torn this pec before and not realised. And I was in, funnily enough, Brandon, who we were talking about, in his gym near me. It was like an industrial unit gym, so it was always cold, right? But I had an Under Armour top on, an oversized t-shirt on, and a hoodie on. I'd even done fucking bitch-ass rotator cuff exercises and all sorts. Now, it was just before Christmas, 6 weeks post doing the British finals, I think. Now, the week after, we were doing a bench press competition in the gym for Christmas. If I'd have torn it then, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean, right? But it wasn't. We were doing decline press on the Smith. Now, I'd done decline press, free barbell, 3 plates for like 16 reps before. I'd done all these warm-ups, I had a fucking Under Armour top on, the lot. I hadn't been out drinking on nothing, right? And it literally went, I think, on the 7th or 8th rep of 3 plates, which I'd done for 16 reps before. Like you say, sometimes it might have been the cold environment, it might have been this, it might have just been fucking unlucky, but...
I tell you what, though, being 250 pounds with larger than average forearms, trying to use a crutch is impossible. Mate, they can't go past, the circles don't go past here. It was probably the most painful part of my hands and my forearms. It was nuts.
You have to get one of them massive Jubilee clips you put on your car exhaust.
Yeah. Fucking mad.
Right, shall we move into some questions then while we waffle away? So...
I might sue Riz, actually, because maybe his product didn't hydrate me enough. I'll sue him. Can I sue him even though I didn't pay for it? I don't know. Is that allowed?
The truth is, Deck knew he was going to catch smoking it overall, so he thought, I'll just blag that I've torn my hamstring.
Yeah.
And when Riz comes with his big hammies, which they're not big, they're still shit.
Can you imagine me in a post down with me overall, he just points to my hamstring missile. I'll punch him.
Okay, right, first question's an easy one. Riz, is there a joint supplement pending from Engineered?
I've formulated one, but it's not been finalised. We've not gone through it with you, like, have I?
No, so there may be one coming in the future. That's what he's asking.
One coming in the future, yeah, powder.
Let me explain to the public that there's like 17 formulas a day of Riz just gets excited and just sends across. Like, it's relentless.
Riz is making 999 products. He's just seeing which ones he can get out first.
We're going to do The fat burner one's is next after the sleep. Then we're gonna do an EAA. Then we're working on that liquid pump. Then we're also working on that other formula that I told you a lot about, the daily one. Loads of shit, bro. It's just about getting the fucking raw powders in. Fucking
honestly, the noticeable difference. I've never used glutathione before. The noticeable difference I feel in just like well-being, my sleep, is fucking nuts. Like I just feel healthy.
I have been saying to all of my clients, right, so I've been a fan of glutathione for a long time. It's just trying to find get it consistently. And I'm not a fan of the supplement needs Lipsum or whatever it's called, the liquid one, because it's a fortune and it doesn't taste great. But if you read into the potential benefits just on your immune system alone and its ability to enhance it, right, glutathione for me is like a game changer. And the fact that in England, particularly, nothing to do with the COVID or whatnot per se, but particularly over the last few years, because we're having warmer summers, really colder winters in the swing, and I'm sure everybody else sees this, the amount of my friends and clients at this time of the year are ill, and they are ill consecutively, all over and over and over, myself included. I think glutathione is something everybody should be taking. For the cost of what Riz is doing his at, and the fact that you need 2 mil a week to have a good solid dosing, in my opinion, as a maintenance dose year round, I think that it is something everybody should be taking.
I actually had Carnivore Muscle, who actually watches this podcast. He's got his own podcast. He messaged me saying, "Hi, bro. I've been using the glutathione. No mention if it was mine or not. I don't know. I'm assuming that's why he's messaged. He goes, my EGFR has actually increased and it's actually gone better, which I didn't know it could actually improve kidney function.
And the effects we saw on the ALT was absolutely bonkers as well. Who was that from? That was...
he sent me that today. He goes, bro, thank you so much. Like, bro, I could have honestly priced that glutathione at double the price.
I said this year.
Yeah, we said that at the start.
Yeah.
I'm not a cunt, and I rather people use it all year round.
Is that carnivore? Is that carnivore guy that's always quite cool in the comments? He always like talks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, him. I'm sure it was him.
Massive fucking hands away before they start scaring the
Yeah. Like I said, how many mils in the bottle is it 50?
Yeah.
Can I get 10 bottles of Alcarnitine, please?
Yeah. So the fact that you only need 2 bottles to do it for the year at the maintenance dose is fucking nuts.
I'm running a mill a day. Is that overdoing it?
I'm doing a mill a day, mate. I didn't give a fuck.
Well, why are you trying to fight stuff? But in terms of the literature, if you're using it long term, I believe 2 to 3 mil, sort of like 400 to 600 mg a week is the year-round dosing.
So what I've been reading is, right, and this is from a very clever guy. He said, now I'm going to plug a lot of products here. It doesn't actually benefit me, but I'm not a cunt. Once your glutathione levels are up and you've reached that level, you can obviously drop down the dosage. And at this point, you can actually move on to a Lipsomol or a powder form, because all you're trying to do is you're trying to top up what you already got, because you already hit that. You hit that threshold, but it's getting to that threshold, which is the fucking hard bit. Because you'd have to use so much fucking powder form to get to this top level.
I get you.
With the injection form, it just gets there quick.
And not just that, the amount you've got to take with the powder form or the cost of the liquid version, it makes no sense when you can just do a fucking mill twice a week. Makes no sense at all, doing it.
It's the most painless pin, and it comes out dead quick. The only thing we might do is reduce the vitamin C because it's causing
it's
a
like,
little bit of
it's nice and thin. It comes out nice and it's easy to load in like a slim pin. Comes out super quick.
It's just like a vitamin B. It's just like a vitamin B12 injection. Bing bing.
Well, but apparently you can do it sub-Q, but I've not tried it yet.
No, I go packs.
Yeah, I would argue for people that take vitamin B12 for health and stuff, glutathione's got so much more benefit than that. So much more benefit.
Yeah, I've been using that IGF LR3.
Well, Dan Bastic's been using that as well. So
Pumps are ridiculous, like legitimate pumps.
Are you using it localized?
No. I'm just putting it with my GH pre-workout a bit earlier, about 40 minutes pre-workout before I have my carb meal. No, intramuscular.
IM. It needs to be IM IGF, doesn't it?
But like honestly, I'm seeing a note. I feel like it speeds the uptake of my food as well. Like I'm hungrier by the time I get to the gym. Does that make sense? It's like it's showing the nutrients quicker.
Well, that's what it does, isn't it? It's insulin-like growth factor, so it acts like insulin. So it should dip your blood glucose a little bit, but not cause a hypo. And it is working on your satellite cells and your nutrient partitioning like
Is that
like
Oxford
you.
Peptide Company? They're on Amazon now. They've been about for a while as well. They've got some good reviews online.
they're
Next day delivery,
smashing
cheap
it.
as shit. Yeah.
They're smashing it on Amazon, mate. Do you know what I mean? All pets will be bouncing anyway, in how the UK is. What's the next question?
Next question: high test and low decker, or low test and high decker?
It
High test, low
depends.
decker.
It depends.
As we always say, it depends what you feel better on.
I've got a client who can run like a gram or 1200 decker with like 300 tests, and that's perfect for him. If I did that,
before, very good.
forget about it. It depends. It's like you got to try it. You got to see what works.
Well, we've discussed it in detail before, haven't we? Me and Jordan and a couple of others both all ran really high decker cycles with low test, and Jordan loved it, as did I. And when you think about what you're trying to actually get from drugs, on paper you could create a great argument for it, because you want more anabolic really to build muscle. So if you're running a higher anabolic to androgenic ratio drug in the off season and you still feel good, then there's a big argument for it. And I know Broderick Chavez, is it Broderick Chavez, however you pronounce his second name, he is a huge proponent of keeping your test just above TRT, over TRT, but no higher than I think 300 mg, where it keeps your estrogen, and then pile driving those other drugs. I think he prefers
What do you
Primo.
reckon would have a harsher impact on overall health? Gram of deca or gram of test?
Gram of
It's
test.
kind of ignoring the aromatization side of things, if that makes sense, more from like a health perspective.
Well, actually,
I reckon gram of test.
Was Deca not
Because
actually
test-
originally made?
You got to think test converts to so many more things, like test
Yeah, and
is
has
also-
effect on blood pressure
what
and things
more-
like that.
more
But then
prostate.
with DECA normally comes a lot of water retention, which also have a massive negative effect on blood pressure, appetite, all that sort of stuff.
I think... Sorry, go on, Riz.
Deca increases prolactin way more than testers, which so if you had a tumour or you had something like that, and I'm sure has Deca not got more of a
Affinity.
making your prostate grow quicker.
Yeah. I think once you get into a gram of anything, right, particularly those drugs, I think you'd be hard pushed to try and find an argument over what one's better than the other. But I do know, or I do believe I've read somewhere, that Deca in higher doses can have a negative effect on some of your blood vessels. And there is also some research that shows Deca can have a negative impact on your memory and your memory recall.
Coming out
William
of the lockdown.
Croston talks about this all the time.
Not just that, I've been talking to Jordan lately a lot about what he's running, and he's adamant. He thinks that the Deca's been having an effect on his ability to remember stuff. And I'm like, Jordan, are you sure it's not just because you and Corin are so fucking busy with everything fucking going on that you just fucking, there's not enough to remember?
I actually agree, yeah. Since running this Deca, this past few months are really high. And I've not run it consistently for a long time like this with really high E2. I sometimes forget shit that I never would forget.
There's a lot
I
of
have to write
literature
it down.
coming out now off the back of studies from like 20, 30 years ago. People had it for a long time used to the effects it has on, or the ability with the negative effects it has on people getting Alzheimer's and things like that. There's a lot of sort of neurological issues off the back of it.
Neurotoxic.
Yeah.
Like, I struggle to remember like shit from like way back, not like short term, but like long term memory. So sometimes like trying to remember like history or certain things like facts and stuff like that, it's just escaping me. Whereas like short term, like yesterday's stuff, I can remember.
Bro, I'm like Rain Man. If I drive to Coventry now, Riz's once with a sat nav, I will never need a sat nav again. My brain's bad as fuck.
Bro, long term I can remember everything. Short term I gets a bit cloudy at times.
Yeah.
I think the problem is, especially for us, right, and this is what I was saying to Jordan, because Jordan was like, I think my memory's going. I was like, we all have a lot of stuff going on, right? Like whether it's fucking Chudley with all his YouTube shit and trying to create videos and God knows what else, the amount of memory that takes. Deck, you manage a very, very high fucking role in your job all over the fucking world. Riz at the moment's got clients and fucking engineered muscle. I have fucking clients and my mum and my fucking dad being fucking poorly and then managing fucking Aralina half the fucking week. Like, and this is what I was saying to Jordan, like, you have a fucking, you and Corin have so much shit going on, right? And this going on and that going on top of the fact that you're both always dialed into your meals and your training and your supplement and shit. Like, a lot of people don't have how much going on in a day we do. Just for the fact that if you take bodybuilding and remembering your fucking injections and remembering all your supplements and your health supplements and your fucking meals and planning your meals and your training, Most people don't have that, and they don't have the work schedule that fucking most of us have. So I do wonder, and I'm not talking about the people in the medical studies because they're normal people, but I'm just saying for us, I personally would feel that it's hard for me to distinguish if a drug was affecting my ability to mentally recall a stuff, or it is just, it is, because like, so for example, just real world stuff, like at the moment, I have all of my normal client stuff. Now it's calmed down a bit, but for the last 8 or 10 weeks, I've been trying to book hotels and remember to book which shows I'm at, and I have to plan to make sure I'm back for Aralina, and then I've got to plan stuff to do with Aralina, and then stuff for a birthday, and then stuff for clients, and then try and factor my own training in, and then trying to sell this house and buy another house. And sometimes I feel like I'm drowning and I'm just trying to tread fucking water because there's that much going on in your brain. And I imagine all of you are the same.
Yeah.
So it's like how much of it is just, at the moment in my life, I have more going on than ever. So I could say that, and my memory is usually pretty fucking, it's all the time great. I remember stuff no one else remembers. Even when I'm on the fucking session, people hate me because I remember everything when I'm fucking knuckle deep in the kitchen at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. The lads are like, just shut up, Hilly, because you'll remember. But if I was forgetting things now, could I blame the drugs, or would it just be the fact that my entire life there's more going on in my entire life?
Bro, we are all getting older.
Exactly, and there's age as well. I said that to John. I was like, there's a big age proponent, and like a deck, you'll know, like now I've got Aralina. Me trying to do anything when I've got her for half the week and focus on something, it's so hard having a 3-year-old flying around. And I'm always trying to make sure that I'm doing stuff with her and that we've got this doing, and is she all right? And do I have everything packed that she needs when we're out, and a change of clothes because she's always going to spill something on something. And then as soon as she goes back to her mum's, my to-do lists are this big because I can't phone the estate agents when I'm with her, because as soon as I pick up my phone, she's like, dad, I'm trying to eat your chicken and rice meal. So then my to-do lists are twice as big as normal because I don't get anything done for that half the week. So the fact that I'm getting older and that life is so busy and complex, how could I ever blame a drug if my memory was slipping?
No,
It's very hard.
Bro, I've been so busy recently, I'm not lying to you. Today, Dee went to see her cousin. At like 1 o'clock, we had hardly that many parcels there. We got them all done. I got all work done in the morning. She smashed it. And I actually come upstairs at 2 o'clock looking for work to do. Check email, check invoices, check this, check. And I was like, what do I do?
Bro, I would fucking wish that was me, mate. I'm non-stop from 7 o'clock to the second I go off to go gym.
It never ever is like this. That's why I went to the gym early.
That's a
And
good
I
thing,
was like, what do I do? I started fucking brushing the cat, and I was like, fuck, 40 minutes gone, I could have went to gym ages ago.
But it does, when you get a quiet period, it's like, what the fuck's going on here? It's like one of the reasons why I'm only training 3 days at the moment and I'm doing full body. Because I've been away with shows that much and I've had loads of stuff to do. I want to try and get as much time with Aralina as I can in the until Christmas. I've got like stuff booked with her almost every other day that I've got her. So I've reduced my training down, and I'm like, oh, this works a little bit better. Because otherwise I'm just constantly trying to squeeze everything in over and over and over. You can't, I don't think in everything that we've got going on, and then that Jordan does, I just don't think you can expect your brain to remember things like we all could 10 years ago, when like you were doing whatever you did to make money, and you might have had a few coaching clients and your job was a normal fucking job. Like you'd finish work, you finish.
Bro, when you just do a 9-to-5 job, this is to out there to anyone, right? When you do a legit 9-to-5, no coaching on the side, nothing extra on the side, bro, life is easy. Bodybuilding is so
But you reckon it's stress
easy.
then? You reckon it's stress related then?
I think it's highly functioning. Like what Hilly said, we're just highly functioning adults, aren't we? Like, there are people, like I know people. If I was to put them in my life for 10 minutes, from like 12 to 1, they would discombobulate.
They'd have a breakdown.
Exactly. And I think you just get so used to that. Like Hilly says, as you get a bit older, you do get a bit slower, priorities changes and all that sort of stuff. You don't have the ability to kind of like be on the button for all of those things you once were.
We're not though. I'm 27. You know what I mean? I shouldn't be forgetting shit.
I can't sit down on the fucking sofa without going to sleep.
Yeah, but you've had so many tattoos, it probably affected your brain a little bit.
Maybe. Let's say that were true, that the drugs do make the difference. Is there something you can do to reverse it potentially?
Cocaine.
Take modafinil and cocaine. Well, don't do it at the same time, because the modafinil stops the coke working, so you waste your money.
I actually heard a rumour that Riz's glutathione reverses all neurotoxic issues. Just do that.
No, I'm not actually chatting shit here, right? If you check your chat history with me, I've actually created a formula for that.
Oh yes, you have.
Yeah, you know, there is certain stuff you can you can't
Bro,
take.
you can take stuff that is like free radical scavengers,
Yeah.
all that sort of
Yeah,
shit. Stuff you can make a change.
like
yeah.
fish
I'm telling you
oils.
now, the next 5 years, with the studies that are ongoing for psychedelics and use of acid and ecstasy
Mushrooms.
things like that, for repairing, what is it? Neurodiverse properties. So where like the part of your lobe stop working basically, or slowly stop functioning. The testing they're already doing now, it's ridiculous the response humans are seeing. It won't be long now, give it 5 years until people will be even prescribed this stuff to prevent people having issues and things like that, like Parkinson's.
I think they're gonna cure that eventually. You know, Parkinson's.
Yeah, because the other ones is the CTC is what fucks people. The impact stuff, the one that destroys your brain over time. That's the one that they ain't gonna repair. But like the things that like dementia, Parkinson's, that's the one that they will be able to reverse for sure.
I would argue half our problem is the fact that we are constantly doing something. Your memory is constant. Your brain is constantly trying to load stuff up and then remember it and offload it 24/7. Do you think, Chuds, right? Like with what you do with social media and Instagram, is there ever a time that you don't wake up or go to bed, check your phone, and there's something there that you've got to remember or do?
I'm on it like 14 hours a day.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I get into bed now and I literally get my phone, focus, I put it on silent, on that don't disturb mode, and I say to Dia, goes, put your fucking phone away.
See, but you know what the problem is like, I don't have the time in the day to like do that personal bit. Does that make sense? So like that hour for me before bed is to like watch a bit of TV, browse on my phone, do all that sort of shit. I know it's unhealthy, it's not hygienic from a sleep perspective, but that like last hour of the day is the only hour I'm not doing something. Does that make sense?
I do that while I'm having a shit.
I'm the same deck. So I by the time it's like, especially when I've got Arlene, I don't get to do anything. I have to work when she sleeps, so, and then I've got to play catch up now. So the only really time I ever get, apart from if I'm eating, where I'm not, and this sounds like a big over exaggeration, but it's not. The only really time where I might get to actually like watch something on Netflix or fucking sit and fucking play with my vape with my fucking dick or do something that isn't bodybuilding and work related is usually like 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. But I really should be going to get at 10. But then I'll sit there and be like, well, I want to sit here with, and I'm going to hold my vape and actually like do nothing.
Chill out, watch something on TV.
No, but bro, when you're so busy sitting down doing nothing, it doesn't
Does
feel
you
nice.
really good. Yeah.
I sit down sometimes and I'm like, yo, what am I doing? I could be doing some labels.
But then you like take some holiday, or like you shut it down, and that's like 6 hours. Like I'd rather be busy.
Yeah.
Bro, listen to me. We're gonna go holiday in about 2 or 3 weeks, yeah. And I know for a fact I need Wi-Fi on that plane.
You're taking the Atlantis Palm all inclusive. She deserves it. She's one hell of a woman.
We are going to Dubai.
Yes. Yeah. I've talked him into it.
We're gonna go to Dubai. I was like, Hilly, I goes, has Emirates got Wi-Fi? He goes, yeah, it's £6. I said, I don't care if it's £50, bro.
And actually, it's one of the ones that actually works as well.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
Virgin Emirates are the ones that actually work.
Do you know when I go away, because we can't do physical parcels, because we don't have to communicate as much, because there's no orders go out, there's less issues, right? That's when I can actually formulate a lot of stuff. That's where I did all the turbocharge, I did all the fucking turbo swole.
When you go to Dubai?
We're going to go in about 3 weeks.
Don't rent a car, because you'll end up with 5,000 worth of fines.
Yeah.
No, if I'm on holiday, I'm getting taxed everywhere.
Yeah, God, just a word of advice.
Because it goes straight to the business. Ping, 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 ping.
But the one thing that I do want to say to people is, legitly, do you when you full send a business, and do you when I see people at the gym, they're like, oh, you always say you're busy. I feel like smashing them in the jaw. I feel like, listen, bro, when I say I'm busy, I mean, you don't reply back. I'm like, mate, check my phone. I'm like, check my phone, bro, yeah? I'm like, bro, check my phone, yeah? You want me to reply back to fucking everyone? Bro, I can't. You can't do it. It's impossible. I'll have a divorce, bro. I said, I don't want a divorce, okay? I just put the phone away, man. Fuck that, bro.
Right, next question. How big an effect does overuse of AI and thyroid meds have on show day size and fullness?
Mate.
Some people can run mad amounts of thyroid and they won't lose fullness. Some people do 25 megs and it will suck the life out of their physique. This is such a difficult, and some people really benefit from having AI crash in estrogen. Some people look like a bag of dicks. I'm one of the people that I can run thyroid without issues, but if my estrogen is crashed for too long, it will suck the life out of my physique.
I don't think it's a drug load thing. It's purely how the duration.
And how you feel.
But it's how long you run the AI for, and how long you leave that E2 smash. Like if you smash it like I did at 10 weeks out, then you're gonna feel like death, and training will go to pure shit.
But what he's talking about is it's just the effect on show day fullness. Nothing else.
If you're running your high days and you're loading these things with the ADEX and all this in, leave it as it is and run your high day.
Yeah. So the question was, how big of an effect does overuse of AI and thyroid have on show day size and fullness? So I would say, I don't think having your estrogen low will affect show day fullness as long as you were doing everything right in the peak to bring about enough fullness. Because we are.
But low E2 does actually affect the carb load.
Yes, it does. Yeah. But we also know that for the majority of bodybuilders, they are all running into a show with their estrogen tanked. Like if you think about it, most top coaches have all of their clients running at least some form of Arimidex or Aromazine into the show, plus a gram of EAT, plus a gram of fucking Primo or EQ. There is no one really, and me and Deck discussed this last year before he had issues where he wasn't going to compete. What my thinking was about trying to drag E2 down to get him completely inside out, and then actually bringing E2 up a bit for the E2 to bring fullness. Because I don't actually know anybody that does that, and I understand why they don't, because there's a big risk. Yeah. But if we think about any top coach we've seen cycles from, or anybody we know that's worked with Martin or with Cal or with fucking myself or whoever you want to go to, if they're not running a gram of Primo and Aromazine or Arimidex, or everybody is tanking E2, but everybody still gets full enough. So I don't think having your estrogen crashed stops you getting full, because everybody has their estrogen tanked.
Also, there's benefits to it, isn't it? Like, to see through what the guy's saying, you're right, you may lose a bit of fullness from your peak fullness potentially, but what you potentially will get from dryness and the ability to pull those stubborn fatty areas off is kind of a positive trade-off to a degree. But like the example what Hilly said was, like I struggled to get my ass in. So like the plan there was obviously to crash estrogen for a period of time when almost everything's off but my ass, tank E2 to get the really stubborn bits off, pull it out, and then obviously feed back into cherry, let estrogen come back up and try and get a bit of a fresher looking physique.
Yes,
the way I think of it is, look at the protocols of all the American coaches. Them cunts are getting their clients running Arimidex and Aromacin and all of it, everything at the same time. Look at some of the Boston Lloyd protocols. Yeah. And he'd obviously share a lot of the Matt Jansen and all that. They're running everything, and not just one AI. They're running like Letro and Aromacin and all of them, and Novadex and everything. And
look at it, if you take AJ Simmons as an example, he hammers them. We all know that, but the cunt never misses, and nobody puts on stages flat. That's a fact. They're shrink wrapped and full.
We also know AJ likes to use a lot of Proviron. So my thinking is, if you tank E2 really hard with Letro and Arimidex and all of that, you just smash it to the ground, yeah? 0. And then your E2 is very low, let's say at 2 weeks out, but now you've got 200 mg of Proviron in, that's going to keep it some level lower, and now you're going to be using peaking protocols to get rid of that high E2 water retention, and you'll actually be able to then have higher E2, which will lead more fullness and easier carb load, which means digestion is going to be better because stomach's not going to have to be as full to get that carb load done. So you have to run 300 grams of carbs instead of 5,000. Better stomach, smaller waist, and then you use the diazide to get rid of the water.
I think there is something greater than my knowledge. What's Hilly drinking? Full fat milk?
The fuck you drinking?
Blue milk?
No, I'm not. I broke my water bottle today, so I had to fill up one of Arlene's milk bottles of water. I smashed my water bottle. I'm a proper gypsy. I've got an empty water. I'm doing a Sam Sulek. I'm filling it with water and carrying it around the gym like the little fucking 18-year-old kids do.
Influencer. But,
yeah.
There's definitely something else to it rather than just crashing E2. Like, we understand they're suicide inhibitors, yeah? So they're going to crash E2. So if E2 is at 0, it's not going lower than 0. So there is something that those coaches understand better than me, that there are properties from the Letro, Adex, Nova, Aromacin, or whatever that are doing something to the dryness and the look of the physique that they're trying to get out of them. Otherwise, you would chuck Letro in because it's like a fucking grenade and it would just pull everything down. But there's something else these compounds seem to be doing to create that very dry look, not just estrogen related.
You have to realise, bro, Arimidex in prolonged usage in cancer patients doesn't actually do that much damage as much as people think, right? Aromazine actually recently has been shown to be way more harmful. Dave Crossland talked about it, yeah? Way more harmful long term. But my thinking is, these anti-cancer drugs, when you're anti-cancer, that means you're getting rid of free radicals, right? And you're getting rid of all of that. So does it make sense the Adex is in, and then all the other bullshit in your body is getting destroyed at the same time, potentially? I don't know.
Aren't these primarily used around breast cancer, though?
Breast cancer, yes.
Yeah, because it's the gland, isn't it? So they're trying to crash E2 to shrink the gland ultimately, or the tumor.
Yeah, around the gland.
The gland, yeah.
Because that's where I'll give you real world examples where just recent real world examples where I don't think an AI affects the ability to load or be full. So Hayden, who did the finals and won his qualifier, we put 11 pound on his stage day weight between his qualifier and being at the finals in 4 weeks. But his Arimidex use stayed at 0.5 mg a day. So if Arimidex affected your ability to be full, how on earth was he 11 pound heavier in 4 weeks? He hasn't gained 11 pound of muscle. That was fullness I added to his physique, while Arimidex and estrogen was still low. We didn't do anything to bring it up. Scott Bentley, he ended up finishing the first show he did. The day before show he was 190 pound. He got on stage at 193 pound. The next show he did was 196. Got on stage at 198. The last two shows he did, he was around 199 to 200 pound, right? So if Arimidex affected your ability to be full, how on earth did I put 10 pound of fullness on both of those guys while the same Arimidex dose was in play? I didn't increase the test in any of them. I didn't do anything to increase their estrogen. I kept the Arimidex in daily, but both of them were 10 or 11 pound heavier. So
do you think it's actually a misunderstanding of it? Like, I understand what this guy's asking the question, and me and Hilly have had these conversations, me and Riz have had these conversations. Do you think it's just a case of when you crash E2, you feel like ass? When you increase thyroid drugs, it rips through the food. Your inability to train and provide any sort of stimulus in the gym goes to shit. So you're unable to hold fullness through the training. You're not able to force glycogen into the muscle. It doesn't want to hold or stick or any way, shape, or form. So over time, you just put yourself into that hole. That's actually what the problem is. Does that make sense? Like you're in such a hole you can't get out of it.
I think the misconception might be Arimidex crushes your E2. When you have low estrogen, your body will not hold on to any water. That is what we're trying to achieve. But that is also because you're on low carbohydrates. You're not taking anything else to hold water. Having your estrogen low doesn't prevent the muscle from filling full of glycogen when you load glycogen. So I think that might be the misconception that.
Yeah, but do you think the top level coaches are smashing E2 so hard so they can load up the test them last 2 weeks and really bring that fullness, chemical fullness?
Well, AJ doesn't. Some might, but AJ doesn't do that, and Scott Stevenson doesn't do that, and Milos doesn't do that, and Matt Jansen doesn't do that. Because I've worked with Scott and I've worked with AJ, and I've seen plans from the other two into shows, and neither of them do that.
Yeah, a lot of the big OG coaches in America, like they're still dropping their tests out ultimately, from my understanding.
And even say we talked about Kuba or Cal. I know Kuba uses Aromazine with Nath, and I know he's used Arimidex for some people. Kuba, not sure what exactly he does, but I know he's not a fan of AIs. Even if they're not driving estrogen low through an Arimidex, which I think Kuba still probably does, but I don't know 100%. They are both proponents of huge doses of Primo. Now, if I took 300 or 400 mg of test and I took a gram of Primo, my estrogen would be just as low as if I was taking Arimidex. So they are still crashing estrogen just via another route. So and they don't have problems getting their clients full.
No, but now, I think it's a different pathway here because it's a different.
Sorry, go on.
It's a different type of crushing the E2. I think the Primo, it works with different pathways. Where I think when Arimidex or some of these drugs, they actually physically, I think Mastron goes into the enzyme and does something. I think it's the way they work.
But for me, but and I think the route they take might affect your health markers. But for me, once your estrogen's in the gutter, it's in the gutter. That's going to affect the fullness the same way, I would say. The pathway is how it lowered the estrogen. I think that's where the difference is. But the fact that once you're at low estrogen, you're at your low estrogen. Whereas I would agree with his question about thyroid juice affecting short day fullness. I think if you've been running 50 or 75 micrograms, for example, of T3, and you kept that dose up, that is going to make it harder for you to be full. Especially.
It depends how far. It depends how fucked you are, right? If you're 4 days out and you're still having to chip away, I just keep it in the fucking bastard in.
Well, so would I. But what I'm saying is, if we know that 50, say use some arbitrary numbers, if we know 50 micrograms of T3 puts your T3 levels at 15 and the range ends at 6.9, right? If you've got your thyroid double the fucking range, maybe triple depending on how your body responds, you are going to burn through fucking carbs at a rate of knots. On top of the fact, like you say, you might be fatigued, you might be doing anything else. So the only part of this question I might agree with is if for whatever silly reason you did keep your T3 at 50 micrograms or 63 point whatever or 75, that might affect your fullness on short day. But I don't believe anybody would do that. So like for me, but again, like we said earlier, it depends what you've been doing on your high days. So if Kenta just competed and he came third or whatever. He's been on, I think, 25 and 12.5. Now, I was seeing a good amount of fullness brought about from his physique while he was on 25 and 12.5 or whatever it was. So because we've got another show to do, when we loaded him up, because I was getting enough fullness from the T3, like with the T3 in, it didn't make sense to reduce it. So again, that would then go against that of, well, no, the T3 being in didn't affect it. But if it was at a high enough dose, it might. But I don't think anybody runs T3. Well, none of us run T3 at a high enough dose where it would impact it.
No, and it kind of goes to what I was saying in the sense of like the misunderstanding of the pathway. Like when you're on your ass and you're depleted and that T3 is in there at that dose, like we know when you're really pilled, your body will opt to burn through muscle. I don't care what anyone's out using steroids. It will. Like if you're not training optimally, if you have the ability to bench 4 plates, and you're 2 weeks out, you're pilled out your brains, and you're able to bench 1 plate, 2 plates, your body's not going to want to hold on to that muscle, no matter how many anabolics you are using. It's not going to happen. So I think there's that other side of it you need to be cautious of, where when your T3 is that high, like it's ultimately just going to burn through energy. Where that energy comes from, you can't select. You can't. If there's not enough glycogen, and you're right in the gutter, and you have a little bit of fat to come off, it's almost a Russian roulette where it's going to come from. Because I've seen it myself, where I've got lighter, but I'm not getting leaner.
Matt, as a prime example of this, my first show, I was working with that Alex Azarian guy from fucking America, right? And Eddie Elwood saw me in the gym at 4 weeks out. And because this is like fucking 12 or 13 years ago, nobody was into bodybuilding, there was no social media. So I was pulling at my skin like, I'm still fat. So I added another 25 micrograms of fucking T3. I upped my clenbuterol like 160 or whatever it was. So I think my T3 was at 75 or 100 because he had me on 75 because everybody used more back then for whatever reason. And then I started taking myself on walks on a night and stuff. And even though I was taking a decent amount of gear, when I got on stage, I remember Eddie said to me afterwards, if you would have turned up like you did 4 weeks ago, you'd have been third there instead of fifth. And he said, whatever you've done, you're just smaller. And all I've done is drove my body around, eating muscle away because I had no fucking idea what was going on. So I do also agree. It didn't help that the guy I was working with, it was all about getting you diced, and the carb load was the most fucking cookie cutter, basic, moderate, 400 grams of carbs for 2 days bullshit you've ever seen in your fucking life. But I do also agree and I think this is where people get lost. If you're 20% body fat and you're trying to get to 10%, you can do that on fucking 250 mgs of fucking testing, you won't lose any muscle. And I say this over and over again. Over and over again. Unless you are, I'd argue even potentially maybe DEX tissue and muscle, or especially Jordan or Kuba will use real world examples that we know. When you've got that much muscle and you're moving that much weight, yes, it may be a risk for them, right? But for the rest of us, it isn't. But that changes when you were trying to get from 10% to 5%. Yeah. Once you're 10% body fat and you're trying to force your body down to 5%, if you don't have enough drugs in there, like what Dex says, or you start using too many other drugs, or you're starving yourself, at some point your body is going to say, hang on, I've got all this muscle that I'm not using in the gym because my performance is on its ass. I will just shift this, edit this, because muscle is costing your body more than fat. Fat is just stored energy. Your body doesn't want to lose fat. If you've got a shit ton of muscle, like any of us have more muscle than we arguably need, but when you've got someone at Kuba's size, Jordan's size, James's size, yada yada yada, their body's got that much muscle. As soon as they push it without the drugs, the body would be like, whoa, a pound of muscle costs a pound of foot fat is a reserve.
The perfect example of this was James in that Patrick Tour prep. We've
Yeah.
all seen James. Look, James at the moment is the biggest human being I've ever seen. Mate, I always mentioned to you about that time I saw Jay Cutler. James at the moment is a fucking freak. Like, you've never seen anything like it. This dude is a monster. But that shit time he stepped on stage, he was a quarter of the man. To what I've seen him look like, does that make sense? We know he's not putting on 30 pounds of muscle in 2 years. We know that for a fact. He's just gaining that fullness back over that year, which gives him 10 pounds. And then maybe his muscularity is 2-3 pounds more a year.
I think when you crush E2 so low with all the drugs, you're actually obviously crushing prolactin at the same time.
Yeah.
Prolactin obviously makes you hold water retention, right, Haley, as you know. Because your dad's got high prolactin, that's why he uses the diuresis.
Direct.
Yeah.
I actually think when you crush it for a long time, like this last prep I did, I lost all of my legs. And that's on me, yeah? Taking K-bar, taking E2, taking everything. And I felt like shit from 12 weeks out, yeah? That's why I lost leg size, because I could not fucking train. I could not train.
Legs is the best example. Like, how many times have you heard dudes say, I lost my legs? And it's a perfect example for inexperienced people to understand. Say if your legs are a bucket of glycogen and energy fullness, yeah? So let's just say you're so depleted at that point, when you're eating your meals, you have 10% fullness in that bucket. Yeah?
Yeah.
You train through that in what, 20 minutes? 2 sets?
Yeah, it's gone.
Right. So then you go from there, you're flat, the muscle's flat. You then go do an hour on a step down, or an hour of cardio. There's no fullness in the leg. It's just sucking the life out of your leg. And then you go another 5 days with drip feed and food, where you're only filling up 10% and it's going through your chest, your back, and all that sort of stuff. You're never getting any fullness back in the legs. So by the time you do it for 3-4 weeks, your legs are gone.
Bro, it's taken me 6 months. 6 fucking months, yeah? To get my legs back to where they was.
And they're still half the size of mine. It's mental. I've only got one of them.
Have you got hamstring though? That's what I'm going to say to you from now on.
I know.
Bro, I went to the gym today and I finally PB'd on leg press after like 1 year. 1 fucking year, bro. Yeah? That's how fucked my legs was.
There is something to it. There is what you were saying about the resting stuff. There is. I'm not going to. I'll be honest. I'll lose that 10% I might gain from resting more. But there is definitely something to it. Like I said, I ain't trained legs for 2 weeks, and I PB'd by a plate on a gym pin on my leg extensions. Like, that's not like, I don't see that progress at any point now. Does that make sense?
Bro, I'm going to the gym after this rest week. So last week I was fucked. I was ill. I was eating 2 meals a day. Yeah. I thought I dropped the Lantus, I dropped the GH. I thought, if I can't eat, what's the fucking point in having a hypo? Yeah. I'm sleeping loads. Mate, I must have slept like 13 hours a day. Yeah.
Nice.
I was napping, and bro, I only lost 3 pounds.
Yeah.
So Lantus taken out, GH 8 hours of GH taken out. I lost
Fake
3
GH,
pounds. I know, but I literally thought, and I went to the gym and I thought, I feel pretty good today.
Mate, if you had Baltic GH and that wouldn't have happened, bro, you lost 6 pounds.
Yeah, because straight water retention, bro.
There's a lot of it. Strength that doesn't necessarily mean size. Like there's a lot of people that get proportionally stronger compared to their size. Like with me now, even with how I train, I'm still moving about the same weight that I was 2 years ago, but I'm nowhere near the size.
Yeah. But it's
like,
the way you move it as well, isn't it?
You see a lot of people that like they're really strong, but you see they're lacking size. So, you know.
One thing I have found is though, boys, I told you I couldn't put my legs low on the leg press because it hurt my knees. So what I've been doing, I was watching someone talk about how the only way he got his legs sweepy was when he stopped doing that and he started to put his legs wider, right? So I've been doing that for a while, but I couldn't get my legs low because it hurt my knees. Well, now I can actually do it when my legs are at the bottom of the pad, yeah, more quad. Because I spent the whole fucking year thinking about hammy, put my legs fucking low, my feet low, and I put my feet out a bit wide. It's the only way I can get full ROM. and I still keep getting full hammy. I get hardly any quad. It's like, fuck
Yeah,
me
but
up.
see, I'm of the opposing opinion. Like, I've got pretty sweepy quad, not big legs, but like my quads are very round. They're sweepy from the hip. But I think that's because I've always squatted. Now, like if you guys have watched me leg press and squat, like I squat my feet this close together, full depth every time. But I think that's why, because when you're narrow, you're driving through that rec fem. It's a rec fem, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're driving through that. The problem is I find for me, if I start tilting hips out, I start pulling through my glutes and my hamstrings. I'm loading. When I break at the hip, I load for my hamstring glutes. Now, if I'm narrow, when I break at the hips, it's all quad. Like, there's nothing else to it. It's just quad.
But I obviously want bigger hams and I want bigger glutes. That's a big goal. But a bigger ham is way more impressive than a bigger quad. Yeah?
Grow up, mate.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous,
That's
mate.
the stupidest thing to say.
Stupidest comment. Stupid comment. Big quads rule everything. That's because I've got big quads.
Are you on crack? Listen to me. Big hamstring. Bro, your hamstring
One
will never
shot.
be big enough.
One shot.
Bro, side chest. Yeah?
Yeah?
Side chest. Side tricep. Back
Yeah, but you
double,
could do that the Dorian
back
Yates
lat.
way, which is cool.
Mate, brother, listen to me. When you're, bro, you can't say to me, I mean, quads are some wicked, yeah? When someone turns to the side and they've got the on the hammy, mate, into the
Yeah.
glute.
But
Man,
I
it's a
think
different level,
hams. I think people who have good hams come from detail in the ham, and then the back shots are adductor. If you've got a thick adductor, as long as you've got, take Chris Bumstead as an example. That dude doesn't have big hamstrings, but he's got fucking or Phil Heath. They got like wires through their hamstrings, which are mental, so they look really impressive. But a big quad is so much cooler than a big fucking ham.
No, a big quad is impressive, brother, but do you know a complete leg?
Yeah,
Which you
that's
rarely
not
see,
the
yeah?
same argument. That's not what you said.
Don't change the argument.
Can't
But,
change
bro,
the whole
you never see someone with a good hamstring and a shit quad, do you?
Me.
He's gone quiet.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I meant you know someone with a good hamstring and a really shit quad. You never see that. You always see good quads.
True. That's true. Yeah,
You
true.
always see good quads.
Yeah.
But I've been trying to get my adductor stronger. I've actually got pretty strong.
The thing most people I find, so I leg press or squat or anything with a narrower stance. And in terms of quad activation, like if you're doing a leg press or anything, what you've got to think about is to activate your quads more, you almost want to imagine you're pushing the pad away, you're not exploding through your quads, or through your glutes or your hams. Same with a squat. If you were trying to do more glute and ham, then you imagine that you're exploding from the floor upwards. If you were trying to activate more quad, you imagine that you're pushing your toes through the floor, like a sissy squat.
I'm literally doing it now on the floor.
To activate your quads, you need to push your feet away. To activate your glutes and hams, you need to drive up and squeeze your glutes and hams. So I always laugh at myself because I used to laugh my tits off when Kai Green would talk about thinking about the muscle and having that mind-muscle connection. But it really is. Most people, when you're training, if you say to them on a leg press, imagine you're trying to push the leg press so far away that it hits the fucking wall. When they imagine that they're pushing the feet away, they instantly feel the quads more. Whereas when they're trying to explode, as if they're exploding out of a squat, it becomes more glute and hams.
It's same with a leg extension. Like I always cue people this. Like when people try to get their feet up to the ceiling, they're doing it wrong. Try and get your toes out. Like push your toes outwards, not upwards, and I guarantee you get more quad activation. But it's also, I know I'll probably get a bit of hate for this. You know, you see the guys now on Instagram who love doing this like mad depth where they're basically sucking themselves off. Like I truly believe that's counterproductive. Like, name me one person that does that's got mad quads.
What extreme wrong?
Yeah, you know where it's ridiculous.
Like I do it on the leg press.
Yeah, like Riz did one the other day, just absolutely retarded, which is great for your flexibility. It's cool, but then
Bro, but I'm trying to grow my hamstring, bro.
I know, but then you take someone like Sass as an example. If you watch Sass on a leg press, his is like a half rep. It's the second there's tension on the quad, bangs up. It's like a pulse. It's like tension, pulse.
Bro, I did that one year and I got knee pain. My knees were fucked.
Yeah.
Everyone, Haley wants to train me. He goes, Riz, stop going so deep on the rep. I went, bro, if I don't, it literally hurts my knee.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have to go past it to then go past it again. It doesn't hurt. But as soon as I do that half rep bullshit, bro, my knees hurt, man.
It's off, isn't it? Every other body part of Riz's flies from half reps, but on that one movement, he has to go full depth.
I mean, look at the full rep in his life.
Let me just say one thing. Real talk. My form is impeccable, yeah?
An impeccable pig.
The only thing that's not impeccable is on leg extension, yeah? Because I go on leg extension, everyone's like, hold the handles, hold yourself down. I'm like, when I hold myself down, my legs don't connect. When my arse comes up, bro, my quads go fucking massive.
You need a booster seat.
Bro, if my quads look bigger when I'm
because you're
training,
whittle.
Because you're wicked.
right. I'm doing something right. How much do you weigh, Deck? No, just answer, how much do you weigh?
Me?
How much do you weigh?
I probably like 250.
No, legitimately, what were you this week? Are you on a blast?
Yeah, I'm still on cycle. I ain't dropped off.
Yeah. I'm 227 on a cruise, mate. You're on a blast 250.
I'm 1 inch bigger than you and 10% leaner than you.
Brother, you're like this much taller than me. You're this much.
Riz is the only person that will say on here I'm 6'1", then in real life.
Bro, you're like this much taller than me. You're real talk. So on a pound for pound scale, I am the henchman in this chat.
What, like
right
like the pull-up competition?
But I don't do pull-ups no more. When you're heavy, you can't do
I
pull-ups.
smoked you. He gave us spuds. He's like, yeah, but I'll be in a pull-up competition. Absolutely lit him up.
I don't do pull-ups, mate. I do straight machines. I'm about longevity.
Bro, you can't say anything. We trained 3 times, and every single time, your top set has been my back off set.
Bro, train
level.
with me now. I had Gyno there.
I'll come up to like, I
had Gyno
I'll
there.
go to his house, dude, but like, let's do hamstrings.
Bro, every night I go when I jab myself. Well, actually, that's a good talking point, yeah. So I went to Hilly. Me and Hilly were chatting. I goes, bro, I've been pushing up for 6 months, and I think at this point he was like, I'm just gonna put him on a cruise. I goes, I've been pushing up for 6 fucking months. I've been jabbing every fucking day, yeah. I goes, I'm done, bro.
Yeah, I'm getting so bad with my jabs as I get older. Like, there was a time where I was same time every day. God, I miss so many now, and I'm doing doubles on one day and then missing another. Fucking, it's a nightmare.
Bro, when you pin every fucking day, just so you got. I was saying to Ed, so I pinned my GH morning and night, yeah, 2. L-carnitine, that's 3. The fucking other shit, whatever, insulin, rapid, that's fucking 5.
Yeah.
I had the gear shot, that's 6. Sometimes you got to split it when it's a lot. That's 7 jabs a day. 6 months, bruv.
Mate, some people are just not cut out for it. It's not your fault, right?
I honestly think my triceps growing because I've been jabbing it.
Are you still jabbing it? You savage.
Yeah.
I haven't done daily jabs for ages, mate. Every time I go and make my jabs up, because I only jab 2 or 3 times a week. It must be an age thing, Deck. Because I look at it, I'm like, nah, and I put all the insulin pins out, and I'm like, fuck this shit. I do mine twice a week.
Spots to pin. I used to love pinning tricep.
Well, how do you pin it, Chubs? Which part of your tricep?
I lean over the mirror and I'll pin it in there.
I used to do that. I used to just go in there.
Yeah, there.
Well, I would go in from the side, me. I would just hit the belly there with an insulin pin.
I'll go here and then I'll go from like.
Because all that's tricep there, look.
Yeah, that's a big bit.
Yeah.
So I can just go sideways into there.
Yeah.
See that bad boy there?
I'll be doing it into this one.
Nah, it's fucking.
But it's just hard to reach it.
For me as well, it moves. Look, so you go there, and then I used to try and hold the tense and push it in, but see that just didn't feel right for me.
It's almost like at the insert between the
It's that.
tricep.
It's that bit there, isn't it?
That's it.
But it's hard for me to get round there. Whereas I can just sit here and go ting 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 ting.
No,
I lean over a mirror and I'll just jab it from underneath.
I've worked out if you get this arm here, and you put this arm under this armpit, yeah.
It's like this.
And I get the slim pin, and I I push it in, and I'm.
No, I've done. I've put.
Riz's head won't even fit in that gap there. He's like this.
That's literally how I do my lats. I stretch my right arm in with my left. I dart it in so it's just stuck in my skin, and I pull my arm on and go.
See, lats for me. I literally work my way down there, mate. So see, you're like there. I just go. I stand in the mirror and I go ping, 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 ping.
More asked me to pin the turbo swollen with the show, and I said, yeah, no problem. And he went like this, and he pulled his. I said, you don't pin your lats like that. He's like, yeah. I was like, mate, it's fucking contracted like that. What are you doing, you mad bastard? Imagine a pit pin like that.
Well, do you know why? So I think which website is it on? I don't know whether it's Spot Injections or another website, but when I first did mine, I used to do that. So whatever website, They had you hold your arm up and then go in here when it was stretched.
Oh, that'd be horrible when it comes back down that old
Yeah, it felt fucking rank.
Lean over a mirror and then you just go in there because a lot of times you can't see it, so you just need a mirror to navigate.
I get my wife to do all them shots I can't see.
Wow.
Traps are really nice, man. Honestly, you get a slimp and just dart in there like.
Oh, I used to get the worst headaches with traps. I've only done it twice.
That's why I don't do
I
them.
keep pinching shit in my neck. Does that make? When they're up all the time, I'm like, oh, that's a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not for me, traps. Like.
I've done it once or twice, and never again.
It's not for me. Right, next question. Thoughts finishing up a push phase with 5 weeks of tren, 200 mg if health is in a good spot. I'm a national level bodybuilder.
We've discussed this, and we are big advocates of switching to compounds to improve body composition. We've discussed in detail.
Yeah.
I learned that from Hilly, so Hilly can pick that up.
Yeah, we've covered it in a few podcasts before. We were all a fan. I'm particularly a fan of doing this, of literally shifting, exactly like your question is. The last 5 weeks, I would keep food more or less as it is, slightly bump output up, switch drugs. I don't think there's a need to go to 200 mg of tren. I think 100 mg of trenase to 150 mg max will bring all you need. You leave everything as it is. You switch something out for the tren in, or if you're only using certain stuff. For me, I'd usually either pull the Deca or the MPP out, switch in a low dose tren, or I might drop Primo down, or what. It depends on the cycle. 100, 150 mg of ACE. Up the output a little bit, leave your food as it is, and you just watch yourself get leaner and harder. I do it all the
normally
time.
chuck a smidge of clad in there. I know who meant about like
Yeah.
45 grams to me every time.
Yeah. Next one. So this is from Jay Noble and it's for Riz. How to handle Xmas as a bodybuilder is.
What?
Oh, it's because I was taking the piss of a day.
Xmas it? Oh, what do you say? Xmas?
Xmas for Christmas.
Riz, yours Christmas is different.
Listen, mate. Listen to me. I was actually doing this story the other day, right? Yeah. Because this time of the year is when a load of religious people, like in the Muslim community, they're like, you shouldn't say that. Not religious people, because the religious people don't really give a fuck about normal people, right? They just do their thing. True religious people don't give a fuck what you do because they're happy with what they're doing. It's always these judgmental people. They're like, you shouldn't say Christmas, you're a Muslim. You shouldn't say Christmas because you're a this, or you're a Sikh, you're a Hindu. But I always reply back and I say, well, mate, I'm sure like you do the seshmi every week, and that's
What are you talking about religion? Mate, I walked past the butchers the other day at halal one. They started throwing bacon at me.
Fuck off. Did you get my point, bro? At this time of the year, yeah, generally you'll see a load of guys kick off online in our community. They're like, oh, you shouldn't say that. But I'm like, bruv, you've got like 3 misses. You cheat on your wife. You drink on the weekend. That's fine. But saying
religion in itself is just like.
Sometimes
like, I understand it's a belief, but like it's your opinion on a belief. Like, just fucking keep it to yourself, you mad bastard. I don't want to hear about it.
That's what I always said.
It'll only be a couple more weeks, and everybody will be doing how to handle Christmas videos.
That's what
this is the thing, though.
As well.
There's been a time where all of us have sat there and thought, what am I going to do?
I know you're right. You're 100% right, Chance. I was that guy.
I
What
think
do you mean?
everyone
I
is-
never do that shit.
Nah, you would have.
I would have been on plan. You asked Daisy, I'd have been doing cardio on plan up until like the point of Christmas, and then back on plan the day after Boxing Day straight away.
I'm sure all of us have been to. I remember myself being on the 25th on Christmas, being in the gym at Pure Gym, and it's like it's fine. You know what I mean? Like if that's what you want to do, you should go through that stage and worry about it. You know what I mean? Because you'll get past it. And now none of us give a shit. But
The truth is, in the UK, 98% of people don't celebrate Christmas for what it's for. It's just a family gathering.
Yeah, which
like
is what
how-
I prefer it to be. I don't give a fuck
Yeah,
about it. It's just time to spend with my loved ones and eat some shit food and watch some TV, man. That's it.
Everyone's off work in the whole UK on that one day, except for the
I get
Indian
absolutely
culture.
rattled with the boys the week before.
Yeah.
He used to say just when we were younger, like when before you like used to work with him, right? Because you like knew him that. He'd be like, do what the fuck you want, but don't be coming in weighing about 7 kilos.
Bro, Hilly used to make me fucking checking on Christmas Eve because he knows I'm a fat cunt.
Yeah. We're at Manny Dick's fucking eating.
He's like, yeah, you're not allowed to start Christmas 7 days before, mate.
Even
He's
if you
lost
take
it, he's
the
lost it.
utter piss, even if you do take the utter piss, and you like, how much fat can you realistically gain in a single day?
The thing is, though, Chudley, right, in fairness, the problem is, and this is only with certain clients, but I've literally had clients, right, lifestyle clients, not so much bodybuilding clients, that have done, because it goes back to what Riz and Deck was saying there. People don't celebrate Christmas for what it is, and actually, although this makes me sound like an old miserable cunt, excuse my language, that people seem to see it as a day or a period of time, or even a month, to eat shit all of the time, right? And like, if it's your birthday, it doesn't mean that you've got to eat shit. If it's your fucking anniversary, it doesn't mean that you have to eat shit. But for some reason in England, particularly at the current times, people associate a holiday, whether that's going to fucking Turkey for 2 weeks or going to Dubai, or they associate Christmas or Boxing Day or anything they do with eating fucking shit, right? And it blows my mind. And just, you're right, Chud. Of course you're right. You can't do that much damage in a day, but no word of a lie, right? I could go through my client history and pull out clients, right, that have done that much damage over the 2 week holidays they had off work, where they literally haven't got back to where they were until the end of fucking February, and that is no exaggeration. I had a couple that were in New Zealand, man and wife. They like to have a social life, they like to have a meal, sound right, and they were like, do you know what it is, Hilly? We've smashed this year, we've been we've both got 2 weeks off work, we're just going to do what we want. And I was like, that's fine, that is your decision, right? And they both didn't get back to where they were till fucking March. And I was like, just so you know, it has taken you 8 or 9 weeks of your life to undo the damage the gluttony did. And it blows my mind, because I suppose for me, up until a few years ago, I probably ate less over the Christmas period because I was out with the boys all the time drinking and whatnot. And even me, like with my stomach issues and whatnot, and I just don't think I'm that much of a pig. But for a lot of people, like every year, when I do 12-week packages with people or whatnot, that I still do, and again, not my serious clients, but you do see people do that much damage over a week to 2 weeks. It's taken them over a month to undo it.
But then the way I approach it is, if you're a lifestyle client, you ain't got deadlines, you ain't got to worry about off-season or a prep or anything like that, then so be it. If you want to be a pig for 2 weeks and then it takes you 3 months to get back on track, fair enough. Yes,
it's easy for us to say that because we know, us collectively, like Chad said, we can do what the fuck we want. We know we'll get on back on plan. Like you and me both know, I'm a pig. I know that for a fact. But I understand energy balance. Like I know if I'm going to eat, I'm going to go out for a walk or whatever. I know how to offset it a little bit. Does that make sense? Or pull carbs the day after. The lifestyle clients are the ones who fall off and just never get back on.
The only part that annoys me is though, I'm with Chudley. If you're a lifestyle, if you're a bodybuilding client, as long as you don't have a show, if you want to go and gain a fucking stone and a half over Christmas, it's nothing to do with me. I'm not your dad. I'm your fucking coach. Like, I'll help you fix it. What winds me up is that then you've got to listen to the fuckers moan. Oh, well, I'm not back to where I was yet. I'm like, well, motherfucker, you shouldn't have gained 14 pounds over Christmas, you dick. And it's that bit that annoys me. If you want to go and gain a fucking stone over Christmas and eat like a fat fucking idiot, that's absolutely fine. But just don't moan when it's middle of January, end of January, February, you're still on the treadmill sweating it off. Like what Chudley says, make the decision that you want, I don't care. What really infuriates me is then having to listen to people moan about it. I'm like, well, you weren't moaning when you were feeding your face fucking every hour of the day.
What I think it is, and this is very common, yeah? I used to have a few mates in Cov, they were like, bro, but these girls on Instagram, they're always eating shit and they're lean. I'm like, yes, because you see one snapshot, you thick cunt. You see one snapshot, and then it's like my sister, mate, she's skinny as fuck, but every time you eat her, she eats some shit. I'm like, yeah, because she doesn't eat nothing else. She has a bar of chocolate once a day, and she has nothing else. She fucking starves, and she's okay with that. But people see that, and they're like, Hilly's eating that. That's why I don't post my cheat meals no more on my Instagram, because certain clients can't handle it, and I start to get pissed off when they question me. And like, why'd you have that?
I'm a weirdo. I don't even want them anymore. Daisy's the one that fucking forced me to have them every fucking week.
That's because your food's mad high.
Yeah.
Bro, when Hilly had my food really high, mate, I changed the salmon to fish fingers in my meal, and that's what I had. And I was like, sweet.
I remember joking with some of my mates before. They were like, "Oh, do you still have a cheat meal?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they were like, "What do you have?" I went, "Nothing." They were like, "What do you have?" I went, "Nothing." They were like, "What do you mean?" I went,
"Liar, you have a sea bass."
Listen, I was like, my food's like 5.5 or 6,000 calories a day. A cheat for me is not eating. I would
a meal, yeah.
I would rather get to 5 o'clock and be like, do you know what it is? I'm going to go out and have maybe a couple of pints with the lads or a couple of vodkas as well. And I'm just not going to go to bed feeling bloated, and I'm not going to wake up feeling bloated. I'm just going to have 5 or 6 hours where I'm not fucking eating or feeling bloated. That was my cheat. It was because when your food's there, you don't want to eat.
Do you know what I don't get as well? I do Ramadan, right? Yeah, so I don't eat for like 15 hours. And when you do that and you've had nothing, you go to eat and your stomach just bloats up.
Yeah.
So I don't know how people over Christmas who've dieted for so long can eat. Bro, I'm a fat motherfucker, yeah, and Hilly knows over here I've done some mad shit. But I've never done it like that, bro, where you've eaten for like 2 weeks.
I think it depends. Like it's a ghrelin thing, it's a hormone thing, isn't it? When you're actually lean, I think that's where you could do the most damage because it's just an empty pit.
Bro, I think I'm going to go back to what I've said on this podcast ages ago. I think when your wife's a fat bitch and your mum's a fat bitch.
This was our favourite rant. This was the most publicly loved rant from Riz.
Listen, when your family's fucking fat. Look, we're all okay because look, my wife gets gym, she goes gym, she eats healthy. Hilly, his family knows what he fucking does. Our family know what we do.
Bro, Hilly gets fucking cooked 5-star Michelin star fucking macro cat
Yeah, but
meals.
Sarah's not a fat bitch. She's not a fat bitch. She's not a fat bitch, bruv.
Yeah, but she is part of KKK, Riz.
She's part of
Can't come on
KKK.
your house.
No, she can't, mate. She cooks good. Shows me fucking Greg's, mate. I'm not going to talk about why.
Yeah, Riz done her a fucking good one, didn't you, kid?
It shows me. Yeah, I'm
You
just
did.
not going to say nothing.
Do you know what she did? She took.
No,
she went on.
no, shut up. Just don't say it, bruv.
I'll tell you
Don't
afterwards.
say it, man.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Fucking hell, imagine that. Oh, by the way, thanks, Hilly.
Do you know the worst people at Christmas though, and these are the ones that I just want to fucking strangle. You know the ones that are on plan 60% of the year, and then they get really autistic about being a bodybuilder at Christmas. Like, bro, you're fucking not on it any time of the year. What are you talking about? Don't fucking imprint on your fucking family, you prat. You're on 4 cheat meals a week anyway.
Well, that's just because they want the attention at Christmas, don't they?
Yeah.
Bro, the best thing about Christmas generally is, yeah, everyone's off. You get to see your whole family on one day where literally everyone's not got to book it off, they've got it off. And you just get to have a nice meal. That's the best thing, seeing family,
Yeah.
seeing kids.
Especially as your
You know what I
family
mean?
gets bigger and kids and grandkids and shit like that. Like, it becomes a bit more special as you get older, I think.
Bro, we don't celebrate Christmas at all, but my mum makes a big fucking feed up that day.
What does she
Because
cook?
she knows-
Biryani?
My mum does roast chicken every year.
Have you ever had a layered biryani?
What?
A layered biryani?
Yeah, my sister makes it.
Peak.
With like apricots in it, bro.
Yeah.
Nice. Right, another question. Any experience or input on Mast killing libido? 450 mgs of test, 600 Mast, no estrogenic sides noticeable. I have not come across Mast on killing people's libido. The complete opposite.
That's not what he's saying, is it? Like, what he's basically saying is there potential? He just doesn't understand it. That Mast has crashed my E2 and I can't have sex anymore. That's what
No,
he's
but
saying.
mate, it never stops me, mate, when in prep. Mate.
Yeah, but what if his test is
Index.
bunk? What if he's running fucking fake tests? He's got a decent amount of mass in his E2's in his ass. He ain't gonna feel his dick.
Maybe
All your master on is Deca.
Yeah, but yes. So what I was saying was, if you're taking 450, if anybody is taking 450 milligrams of legit test and 600 mgs of Mast, I would not expect to have any. I would not expect to have any libido issues at all on that, and I don't know anybody that
an
would.
outlier. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it is in your head as well. Like sometimes, you know, when you start using Deca or MPP, you just convince yourself, right, from tomorrow now, because I'm on Deca, my dick ain't gonna work. And guess what? It don't work because you convince yourself, and that's it. It hasn't even been yet.
The past 10 clients I've had, every single one of them, I've had to go through like a psychological therapy session with them, get their bloods done, show them that it's literally in their head, there's nothing out of whack off their bloods, all this sort of stuff. And then after a while they start realising they're being hypochondriacs, they think X, Y, and Z compounds affecting their dick. Mate, if it happens once as a man, it don't really want to work, it stays in your head. Then the next 10, 15 times, the same is going to happen unless you stop worrying about
Mate,
it.
if it flops once, you use Viagra once, and then you redeem yourself, and then
Just
you're a
take
man.
20 minutes.
You just
Yeah,
sniff
take
lines
20
of
minutes
Cialis and go
every
at it.
day, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, do what he does. Take 20 mg Cialis and blame it that it's for high blood pressure.
Wait,
Listen.
When I take nothing else, I can take nothing else. I'll take my 20 mega Cialis every single morning.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You just walk around like a semi-lop on all day. It's like there's a load of blood in it. It's great.
One time, I ran out and I ordered it, right? And I was like, oh, it's not coming for the next 2 days. And I was like, fuck, I ran out. I was proper paranoid.
How empty did it feel? Those 2 days? How empty did it feel for those 2 days?
Mate, I was like, right, I'm not having sex for them 2 days. I'm like,
It's like an empty water balloon, you know. It's not been topped
Bro,
up.
all of them drugs give me nasty headache, man.
I mean, I have to be very careful. I run a quarter of a Cialis and I'm sound, but I do get headaches with it.
Cialis is one of the wonder drugs of the world. Cialis.
What you just call it, bro?
Cialis.
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 Yeah, I say Cialis.
It sounds a bit like a fucking
like an STI.
Mate, when I was younger, I didn't even know what they were. We used to call them weekenders. For when you're going out on a weekend, you bang them at the start of the weekend for that exact reason. But I didn't know what they did.
Well, that's because the initial ones you got on the black market were called weekenders, and they came in a blister pack. So they were farmers, or they looked like they were pharmacies, but they were called weekenders, and it's a suitable name because they last 48 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is all fucking weekend, yeah. But they improve you, they increase your fucking HDL, they lower your LDL, they're good for your fucking blood pressure, they're a fucking wonder drug, that's why I take them around for health benefits. Prostate health, yeah, they're good for your prostate. Honestly,
it gives me the most nastiest headache, mate. That's like...
People say that, yeah. People say that. And I had someone say that to me last week, actually. Upset their stomach. Give them heartburn.
Now you've told me that I can never use it. I'm fucked.
It might be in his head, but he said, "Oh, no, I quit using it because it gives me heartburn." I'm like, "Oh, right."
Yeah, I had a mate who was flat on the sesh, and I gave him, I want to say like 40 milligram Viagra, and I said take half of one of these. It's very strong, but you know when you're a bit pickled, he got a taxi from Bristol to Gloucester, which is basically an hour away, with some rancid bird off Tinder, right? So he took one, didn't feel anything in the taxi, so he took two. And by the time he got there, he took another one. He said the next day he thought he was going blind. He said the pressure in his head and his vision, he was getting the silver flying things. He couldn't see straight. He had a migraine for 2 days straight.
I've done that before me. I took a tablet one. I'd gone back to a fucking party somewhere, I think, and then I must have been going on with a bird or something. I took a tablet one.
Jelly.
And then I'd forgotten I'd take the tablet, and then someone at the party gave me a jelly one. Now, them jelly ones are like 10 mate, they're like 10 jelly ones are a Viagra jelly, mate, and the bad boy.
I don't ever use Viagra.
No, bro, I remember I sent Hilly something in the post right after the show, and I sent him some of that Camagra jelly, yeah? And he goes, Charlotte, she goes, my missus said, why has Riz sent you jellies for? And I think he used them and he goes, bro, my head's fucked. They're
strong. They're very strong.
Yeah,
they uptake quick.
Mate, they're weird, yeah. And I remember, mate, my head was like a fucking beetroot, mate. And my head was bouncing awful. But that's because I'd taken both. Right, question. A previous coach told me to take my gear abroad with me. Should we do this or front load? And this is actually from one of my clients, right? But listen to this first. I don't know how many of his mates have got away with this. So they're going on a stag do, right? To fucking Thailand for 10 days, I think. How do you, 20 of them, 20 boys, how do you pull that shit off, mate? 20 lads all getting approval from the birds. They're going on a stag do to Thailand for 10 fucking days.
Mate, I would be in prison within 2 minutes or married to a ladyboy.
When he told me, I said to my voice, I was like, how that? He said, Hilly, I didn't. He said, I don't even know. He said, I instantly said to the lads, there's no way I can go. But his missus was like, listen, you've been working your ass off, you get yourself away. Fucking 10 days in Thailand on a stag do, 20 of them.
I travel a lot, and I will always take my supplements with me in my luggage that is not checked. So I would never take anything in hand luggage, that's ridiculous, but I just take everything else in my toiletries bag. I've flown around with a lot and I've never had an issue.
I went to
Depends
China
where you're flying, right?
with my sis.
But I preload my syringes. Like if I'm going to fly out for I've taken 2 weeks, and I'm like, right, I need this, and this. I'll just preload the syringes, chuck them in the in like what you said, deck, and chuck them in the luggage, and it's fine. And you just pin them as you go.
Yeah.
For me, I've taken drugs to steroids in my, like what Deck says, in my checked-in luggage, not in my hand luggage, in my checked-in, to almost most countries in Europe and some other places. However, I've taken growth and stuff to Dubai, but I wouldn't take injectables there, and I would not take injectables with needles to Thailand either. Those parts of the world I personally wouldn't take. So if I was going for 10 days, say I was taking 300 test and 200 primo, I would just double up and take 600 test and 400 mega primo the day before I went, and I'd be covered for 10 days, and I wouldn't, especially if I was especially if I was going on a stag do, getting flat out with the lads for 10 days. I ain't going to be remembering to take my jabs and this and that. I'm just going to take all my gear the day before I leave, and I'm going to get flat out with the lads. Simple as that.
Another tip as well, like you say you're going with your missus or whatever, you can always post your hotel stay in a couple of days before if you're that worried about it. You can always post whatever you need. Phone them, email them, let me know you're sending a parcel, and they'll pick it up and it'll be ready for you when you get there.
Bro,
I
to
just
be honest, wherever you go now, you just go to the local gym. But listen, I need some fucking tests.
Yeah, I would be taking it to Dubai, mate. The last time we went out there, one of my mates, Jordan Fletcher, he's a daft sod, but he's an innocent kid, and like we're walking through, and when you go through Dubai airport, you go through like two parts of immigration. You go like a passport one, like a security bit. So we get through the passport one, and he's like, "Oh, what have you got with gear?" And I said, "I'm bro, I got a plug out there." I was like, "Don't tell me you got yours." He said, "Yeah, mate, I got 6 weeks worth of kit in my bag." Mate, the sweat that came down his face within 4 seconds as I told him, mate, like, you'll be going to jail if you get caught with this. He's like trying to mince through security. To get fucking
I would. It's just anywhere like Thailand or Dubai or those Saudi or anywhere like that, I wouldn't be taking shit, me. And again, I just think of the half-life for the drugs. If you're taking 300 and 200, you double up your gear before you go, you're absolutely sound for 10 days. You might notice a bit of water retention the first couple of days, but then again, you're probably not going to. I wouldn't give it a second thought, me. I'd just double my dose before I went. I
I
would be
think
fucking
you're
stressed
right
out.
as well, because the amount of times I'll take all my shots, I might take the first one, and then you fuck it off because you just
Yeah.
So, you can literally buy it in any fucking chemist in Thailand, you mad man.
Yeah.
Like you just
Yeah.
walk in and say, "Give me this," and they
Well,
got it.
you can even buy the preloaded syringe jobs in Thailand and shit. So yeah,
So,
but
To be honest, mate, I don't use anything but medtech. I just jab my gear here and I'll be gone.
That's a fucking
Simple.
change of tune, isn't it, mate? But, yeah,
change tune.
that's for another time.
That's just. Last one. I'm too sick to get out. I'm presuming he means too sick to leave the house. I'm in off season. How would you alter your diet? Don't want to get fat or small appetite.
I literally
What, in
went
a
to
day?
got a Greg's and came back.
And I'm presuming I'm presuming he's stuck with this bug everybody's got where they're housebound for days. I would, if you're poorly, your metabolism's up. If you're not going to the gym, you're resting. I would always advise to eat your rest day diet and not worry about it.
Fuck that shit. Listen, I was poorly last week. I went to Dia, goes, take me to town. She goes, what for? I goes, get a bit of a walk about, innit? I got there and I goes, she goes, where you going? I goes, Greg's. I goes,
Yeah.
I'm at Greg's and I'm going to get 2 pasties and go back home. She goes, are you sure? I goes, that's all I'm coming for.
And in
Do you
order
want to tell the world what pasties you got, you fucking
Yeah. What did you get from Greg's, you fucking loser?
2 cheese and onion pasties that didn't have veg on it.
Oh, there we go.
Oh.
By the way, guys,
get-
in our group chat,
I legitimately went and I
he
goes,
said a
"Right, it was
veg
me."
pasty is
He
the
gets
one.
veg pasties. He thinks veg pasties are the one. Fucking nonsense as fuck.
You can't
Can you
argue
tell,
with me.
like, who sent that question?
Some guy called. He always asks questions called Mopsy.
Yeah, he's
like-
sound, he is.
I think a lot of it is like, especially when people are new, you tend to overthink. That's why I'm asking. Like, is he like sort of quite new?
Well, take
Especially-
me an example of my hamstring. Like, I just halved my carbs. Like, even though I can still train my upper body, I know I'm not. It's not beneficial to keep ramping because I will just get fatter. Does that make sense with how high my food is? So I
But
just halve
equally
my
though, let's say we're taking out the cardio aspect, the steps aspect. How many calories do you actually think you're burning in the gym in that single session that you're going to miss?
Fuck all, mate.
200-300 calories tops.
Bruh, me, I'm like 9,000, I reckon.
Yeah.
Bro, listen.
But
I get clients
realistically-
saying to me, I get clients saying to me, I went to the gym and I lost 1,000 calories. I'm like, bro, your watch is a lie, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're mad. Yeah.
So in the gym, and that is if you're doing a hard workout. Let's say you're doing legs, you might burn 300 calories. If
Yeah,
you're doing
I
arms,
agree. That's a good number, yeah.
if you're doing arms, you're probably actually of you picking up the weights and lifting them and that, you're probably burning 100 calories. On an arm work.
I honestly think you probably lose more calories doing arms. Because you're doing so many sets, drop sets, you're moving about, you're doing more.
Bro,
volume.
no fucking way, mate.
Nah,
Bro,
bro.
you're trying to
I
tell
reckon
me
one set of squats will burn more calories than my arm session.
that. Do you truly think that?
Yeah, man. Like
Yeah,
the
'cause I
CNS
sweat more.
your overall fatigue, like your whole body is under load.
Heart
Doing a
rate.
bicep, I could do 70 sets of biceps, I reckon, before it'd be equivalent to a set on squat.
Think like how much more you sweat, how much more like your heart rate goes up.
Yeah, true. But obviously with my arm size, obviously my one arm set's like Dex leg set.
Yeah, they're massive, bro.
My arm.
Riz has got to love those hands about, so he's definitely burning some fucking calories.
Mate, imagine when he preps next, he's gonna have like these skinny little twig arms and fucking clubs on the end.
Listen to me, you cunt. I actually went to the gym.
You look like Mickey Mouse. You know Mickey Mouse's hands?
No, bro, I've actually worked out the way to look like I've got massive arms. I started doing forearms direct because my forearms are big anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just not
Oh
wanking
fuck
enough,
it!
bro.
I'm gonna load the fucking forearm curls, yeah, and get my forearm massive. And I'll be like, oh, his forearms are massive. And when I
Wait,
look at
how
them, I
Hilly's
say,
absolutely fucking done me there with that photo. It looks like I'm about to suck some cock.
I can't see it. I can't see it.
I didn't tag you as.
To answer the question, use your common sense.
Yeah.
Yay.
You know, and I think to kind of like some like takeaway points with all the podcasts that we kind of do, shit's different for everyone. So when you ask questions, what's better, more test or more deca, or how much trend shall I take, or what's the best diet, or like any of these dumbass fucking questions, right? It depends. It fucking depends. You got to
But
try.
then if you're asking these questions and you can give us context about you, even if you answer 3 questions, give us the rundown about you, we'll give the answer. But leaving it too broad, we can only give you a broad statement. That's it.
Because it's like, if you say, oh, is it better to run higher test or higher deca? It's like, well, tell us, what have you done before?
Yeah.
You know
What
what I
have you
mean?
grown the most off before?
But-
What's your
but
historic
truthfully,
cycles you've done?
Your comments are very important actually, because if you asked me last year at this time, Riz, what you taking, I would have went, oh, tested EQ to keeping my E2 low. Now I'm like, got no gyno, we're running straight test, straight deca, no AI. Now I think in my head, if a client says to me they got gyno, I feel like saying to them, get it taken out. That's my
100%.
simple answer.
I said that all wrong.
But
I like my little
biggest,
tips, bro.
Now, look, listen, if you've got gyno now and you've got to run AI to get rid of it, keep going. Just get it taken out, bro. Best thing I've ever
Well, yeah,
done
the
in
kind
my
of
fucking life.
2 key points will be, use your common sense. Shall I get out of the house? If I'm ill, like, how much shall I eat? Well, use your common sense, right? And it depends.
And how
The other
fat are
thing-
you already as well? Like, if you're fat, like not going to be any fatter, are you? Like,
A lot of the times it's a mute point as well, right? Because if you are that ill, you can't get out of the house. You don't want to eat fucking shit. You ain't eating nothing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the other week when I was throwing my guts up, right, and then I had the shit from whatever caused it, I didn't eat a thing, and there was no way I was forcing myself to eat shit. Like nothing. Didn't matter what it was. You could have put anything in front of me. If you are that bedbound, you can't get out of bed, right? Like. If someone wants anything, the thing that you need to focus on is hydration.
Sure, yeah.
You don't need to worry about anything else. And the other thing is, and again, it comes back to this common sense, right? A normal rest day person's diet might be, and I'm talking like a lighter person, 2,000 calories, right? So even if you didn't eat anything all day and you went and smashed a massive Mackie D's, you're still under your calories. So you're worried about 4 anyway. And you're not like, we all know you can fast for 24 hours and not lose any muscle. The science shows that you can fast for fucking days. So the only thing that you really should be focusing on is fluid and electrolytes, which you can get from fucking coconut water, salt, a good hydration product, and fucking the tap. So anything else is fucking in between, really.
And even if you didn't focus on that for one day,
It doesn't even
you'll be
matter.
all right.
a nice
I think,
scoop of engineer muscle H2 turbo may do the job there.
Best hydration in the UK.
Code DEC10. If you don't use that, I'll cut your fingers off.
No, but
I think
something
what
was
you-
genuine-
For some
something I was
people,
gonna
though,
ask on-
they might, let's say you get sick on a Wednesday, and then you're like kind of back to it on like by Friday, and then the weekend's up, and you're like, wow, I fucked up the last 2 days. Let me now just fuck off the weekend. You eat shit on the weekend, and then the next week you start shit. Now you fucked up 5 days.
Yeah.
So that's where the risk is.
One thing that I was going to say that I genuinely think is legit, and I used to do it, yeah? Let's just say you got a trip somewhere. In my head, I'd be like, right, bodybuilder. I'm going to pack all my meals with me. I'm going to try to force to get these meals down. Food goes off, food goes shit. Things start to go off, right? And then you're like, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to go all out and eat shit. But I think what people do is, like over Christmas, yeah, they think, right, I'm going to diet, yeah? They have the first 3 meals wicked, and they'll cut the carbs, and then literally on that last meal, mate, they just eat like a fucking pig because they can't handle it. Well, just if you can eat like a pig, just eat from the pig, mate, from the morning, and it'll
Don't
be
eat in the day. Just don't eat. If you're going mental in the evening with chocolates and stuff, just fast, man. Get loads of fluid and go for a long walk in the
my
morning.
point is, you're eating clean to purposely eat that cheat meal. Just if you're gonna eat the shit, just fuck it. Like he used to say, if you're gonna fucking eat fucking have a cheat meal, have a proper one. You're going to have...
Get it out your system.
A little bit of that, a little bit...
I feel like there's favouritism here. Hilly used to go get up by your fat cunt.
I think
The other thing I don't get as well though is, if I get up and eat loads of shit for Becky, right? So if I, whatever it is, I don't want to eat again till fucking tea time. I don't understand these people that are like power fucking, it's like they're doing eating challenges. I've said to clients before, what did you eat? And they tell me, and I'm like, that's not a day of eating shit, that's a food challenge, that.
Yeah. I think as well, the other thing is, if you're going to fast throughout the whole day, get yourself starving hungry, and you pig out, instead, why don't you eat 3 of your 5 meals, or 6 meals, then you're not going to be as hungry, you're not going to pig out as much, because you've already eaten throughout the day.
Bro, what I would do when I was generally in that phase, yeah, and I wanted to eat shit, I'd get my meal, and let's say I've got chicken and rice, I'd put cheese on it. That's a cheat meal to me now.
Yeah.
The next meal, I'd make it, I'd chuck some, I don't know, fucking waffles on top.
Yeah.
And I'd make every meal a bit of a cheat meal, and that'd be sweet.
Or a real top tip around Christmas is you go in, you give your nan a kiss, you go straight to the toilet, key a whiff, and you ain't eating anyway. Sam.
That's it. That's the way to do. And you'll have a fucking great day.
Great time. You'll be the
And
lightest over the party until 1 o'clock in the morning, you ruin everyone's day.
You'll wake up the next day, you'll be lighter, you'll be drier, you'll look more fucking chiseled, you'll have fucking smashed Christmas.
Do you know what I did? It was end of Ramadan, right? So it was Eid, yeah? Me and my brother were downstairs looking at the scran. Mum made a big scran, yeah? And I just went, whoosh, over all of it. I looked at him and I looked at him, yeah, over all of it, yeah? I looked at him and he goes, you're just going to shut your mouth. He goes, you're just not going to say
You didn't
anything.
tell your mum you sneeze all over food?
Mate, over everything. We didn't say nothing. Ate it.
Nasty that.
Mate, imagine trying to ruin your mum's day, mate. You should be cooking for like fucking 48 hours.
See, Riz, that wouldn't put me off.
No, neither will I. It's extra seasoning, bro. You probably sneeze out turmeric as well.
And because it's me, so I'm like, well, it's me, so I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right, boys, are we calling it there?
Yep. That was a scram.
Yeah, it's a good hour and a half as well. That we did good. Make sure